Hello everyone and welcome back to Evi Turquesada. Hello, hello. So I'm back and today I'm working on an ATC. Actually, I worked on it yesterday, but today I'm editing it. So I'll share with you what I did. I prepared this background with acrylics and I'll show you the ones that I did use. So here's a pearly white that I love to use. And here I go with my metallics again. This is a sterling silver or silver sterling. And then the plush purple and blue taffeta. And then one more, this aquamarine. So those are the colors that I used, and I just swirled with the back of a brush and then a thin brush to get my really thin end strokes. I just swirled those acrylic paints onto that background for an ATC, and that's a 2.5 by 3.5 if I'm not mistaken, and that's the size of the artist trading card. So that's what I'll be working on. And I decided to use some things that I had not used in a while. So I'm using this glass bead gel, which will dry transparent, but this will be an experiment. So I'm going to be using that. And I also went into my stash and I got this very old, very old. I mean, more than 10 years old. Eyelets. Yes, those eyelets that we used to buy by the bunch in every color available for all of our projects and we don't use anymore. So I'm making a selection in cool colors. So I'm using the different blues and purples. And that's the selection I got from my little bin. And those are the ones that I will be using. So that's what I'm going to be playing with and see what comes out. I have a sort of like a visual in my mind and I want to play around with it and see what happens. It's only an ATC, so what could happen, you know? But it doesn't work. So what? I played. I had fun. So I'm going to cover the whole background of this ATC with that glass bead gel, which is a gel medium with very teeny tiny micro beads that are clear. So it should dry completely clear and show the bottom colors through. They should show through, but you'll get all of that bead texture in that transparent background. So that should look interesting, and that's what I'm hoping to apply to the background of this ATC and have it hopefully show the swirls through, or at least the colors. It will just make it interesting. It's another layer. So I'm just applying that to the whole background of my ATC, and that is actually what I am going to use as my glue for, did you guess? Can you guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to apply eyelets to that whole background, and I can't see what's behind anymore, so hopefully it will work out. But I'm going to cover the whole surface with eyelets, and I'm just placing them on top of that gel medium with the glass beads, and it should hold it in place and I won't have to eyelet set these little thingies, which is one of the reasons why I don't use them too much, because they open up the cardboard and yeah, it takes time. So I don't use them anymore. I used to use them a lot. Those flowers, for example, I never got around to getting the hang of them, and they would either be too domed or too flat, or I wasn't too happy. But I'm going to play with them now and apply them as a texture on this background. And I'm kind of liking how this looks, so I go for it. And I'm filling up the whole space with a whole bunch of eyelets in all the colors that I selected. And it's going to take me a little while. And I've skipped some parts because it took me a while to fill up the whole thing, and I don't think you want to sit here and watch me tediously fill up all of my background. It was fun, but I don't think you want to sit there and watch me apply every single one of my eyelets on it. So I've sped through the process and jumped to every other section so you could see the progress. And now I'm applying a little bit more of the gel, the glass bead gel, to my edges to finish it off. And this is how it ended up. Now that I have all of my background with all of those colored eyelets on it, I'm going to let it dry. And I kept this one so you could see I dropped one and it was backwards. So I thought I'd share that with you. I just picked it up with a tweezer and I'm fixing up the gel medium in that background. so that I can flatten it up a little bit and have it be ready so I can set it properly. So I just turned it around and put it on again with my little tweezers. And then I'm going around the whole ATC with the back of my tweezers, and I'm pressing them down flatly to make sure that they are set into that gel medium. And then I will just clean up my area and let them dry. So this is after it's been dried. I kind of accelerated the process a little bit with my heat gun, and then I left it overnight. But this is how it looks once everything dried. And I'm thinking that it's either my heat gun and it melted a little bit of my glass beads, and that's why it doesn't show through a lot, or I applied it too thick and it's harder to get to see through that texture into the background. But you can still see an interesting texture in the background, and it's still holding all of those eyelets really nicely. And I think it turned out a lot of fun. I don't know. It's an interesting background, you know. I've never played with that before, so I'm kind of liking it. I think I would do that again. The only thing is that it took a while. It took a while for it to dry because it was a thick layer of those glass beads, because I wanted to make sure that they would grab those eyelets. So the process of filming it for you and recording my voiceover took longer than it usually does to do other projects, but I think that in the end it was something interesting for you guys to see, so I decided to share it. So now that everything is done on that background, I'm going to apply my layers, and I've decided to grab that K & Company, and it's called Elegance, I think. But that has been in my stash and it's thundering. It's been in my stash for a long time, and those are all of the ephemera pieces that come in that set, and I am breaking it open today to use it on my ATC. But I'm just sharing with you some of the selection of the things that come in that pack. And I've already went through the whole pack and selected the ones that I thought would be better for that ATC, so you don't have to wait for me to do all of that thinking out process, just because the first part took a while. So I was in between this one, which is a layer of that beautiful lacy background, which is acetate, and those 3 flowers. But I thought it took away too much from my background, and I wanted to keep that effect that I had gotten a little bit more. So I decided to go with this sets of hearts, which I will be layering, and I'm thinking I might use a pop dot or square to apply that center to it. And then I'm also thinking that since it's small and there's more space, I want to add that little piece of leftover chain and maybe create a dangle with it. So I've selected a couple of things that I could use. There's a bead cap and that beautiful bead that Marla sent me with a set a while back, and I've been hoarding them. So that's the bead cap that I'm going to be using, and magic, as I place it down, 2 of them appear because one was inside of the other. So anyways, that's the head pin and the 2 jump rings that I've decided to use, and now I'll be creating my little dangle. So I'll share that with you. I'm gonna kind of speed up the process I haven't done jewelry in a while, so it took me a little bit longer than it used to. But I'm applying a bead cap to the bottom with my head pin facing down, right? The flat part is at the bottom, holding that cap in place, and then I'm placing my bead inside. And those of you who already know how to do this, so then you can just skip through this part. So I'm going to push in so that the bead cap spreads and covers the bead properly. It opens up a little bit, and then I'm going to place another bead cap at the top, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to press it down, and grab my bead inside. And I'm sorry for my nails, but that nail keeps splitting all the way down, and I keep cutting and it keeps splitting, so my nails are not pretty right now. Anyways, now I'm gonna use my nose pliers to create my little loop. So I'm bending it backwards, and then with the thicker part I bend it forwards and I create that little loop, and then I'm twisting my wire around to finish it off. And once I have that done, I'm gonna get a flat nose pliers to finish twisting it around, and then I'm gonna cut. Yeah, and those things are all, well, the bead caps are new and the bead that Marla sent me is new, but my tools are old. They're the second set because the ones that I had before rusted, but I haven't done jewelry in so long. And I used to love it. So now that I have that ready, I'm going to apply my little jump ring. So I'm taking my flat nose pliers, grabbing one side of it. And again, if all of you know how to do this, you don't have to watch this part. But I flat nose pliers on the right because I'm a lefty, and then with the other pliers, I'm opening it up backwards. You pull one forward and one backwards. You don't open them towards the outside. Can you see? Because otherwise you lose your shape. So once that is inserted, the little chain, I close it up again, and there you go. That's the bottom part of my dangle. And now I'm just going to apply my jump ring to the top. And once I was done with that, I didn't quite like the jump ring that I had used at the bottom, so I decided to pick a smaller one and change it up. So that's why you're seeing me go through the whole process again. I'm just changing the jump rings, but same procedure, just changing that jump ring at the bottom so it would look smaller and more in proportion with the dangle that I had. So now that I have that, I'm gonna go on to gluing my hearts. So I get my pop square, apply it to the back of it, and get my heart down. And now I'm applying some E6000 to my jump ring on the back of the heart so that my dangle will hang from the back of that heart. I'm centering it and letting it dry for a little bit before I can apply it to the ATC. And now that it's already dry, I've decided to grab a couple other things. So from this bead set, which is the one that Marla sent and I've been hoarding in my little jar, I also grabbed a little heart. It's plastic, but it looks like metal. And I'm going to use it at the bottom of my ATC. But it has the little holes because it's a bead.
You have to leave now.
So I'm going to be applying some little jewels to the top and the bottom to finish it off so that it shows nicely when I apply it. So E6000 again, to the top and to the bottom, I apply the beads. And there you go. That is my little heart all ready to be used. So now I just have to let it dry. Okay, and then I wanted to add something else to the other side of the bottom of the ATC. So I decided to use this celebrated spray that I had left over from another project. And yeah, those are the elements that I'm going to be using. So let me glue down my goodies onto the ATC. And I'm also using the E6000 for that to make sure they hold in place. And I keep arranging them until I'm happy. So that's what you're going to see me doing for a little bit. And then I'm adding a little bling to that heart just to make it less plain. And that's what the ATC looks like. It's still not dry, so things are shifting a little bit. But that's a little bling. That's the dangle with the heart and the little spray on the side. And I found a little glue, so I'm going to take off camera to clean that up. And once the whole thing dried up, I came back to it. I added some silver, the dark silver color, to the edge of it to finish it off. I did not want to do it in black. I wanted to frame it with the same tones that I was using. So that's the little heart all glued up and the dangle playing around. And I'm still fidgeting with some things. Like that little chain thing, I want to make sure that it's glued to the center of the bottom of the heart so that it dangles centered. So I keep like moving it around a little bit here and there just to make sure that it dries in the center. So that's what you see me doing there. But yeah, that's what the ATC ended up looking like with all of the layers and all of the elements that I kept adding to it. And I'm quite happy with it. So hope you liked it. Now for what's coming up next? I'm thinking whether to use this little light bulb with some flat back pearls I added to it a little bit while back and I have it on my desk, or if I should play with these seed beads that you see, the little Ziploc bags keep breaking on me, and my container's not big enough to hold all of them. So I'm thinking I might as well use that on a project. So my second choice would be to work on this coaster that I upcycled. I painted it already, and I have this little piece of fabric that I cut the little flower from. It's one of those little fabric swatches, pardon. I can't even speak tonight. I've had to do this in so many chunks that I'm losing my train of thought. So anyways, I'm thinking whether to do the light bulb or that. So let me know what you guys vote for. Please, please. So hope you liked it. Hugs, everyone. Thank you for your visits and your comments. Besitos. Take care and see you soon. Let me know what you think of those two. Which one? Bye.